Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We've got James Neesmith in the studio. You're the manager and I guess director out at the Science Spectrum. What's your official title?
Technically, it's administrative manager.
Okay, administrative manager.
Yes, sir.
So there you go.
Good morning, James.
Morning. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing good. Hey, I just wanted to say that my wife and I went to we try to make all of the OmniMax features that you have. Usually you've got 2 at a time, don't you? You rotate those.
At least 2, if not 3. We've got 2 right now, and we're waiting a third pretty soon.
Well, we went Friday, and it was Into Nature's Wild.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
What a beautiful presentation that was.
We've gotten a lot of compliments about how well the cinematography is on that one, and just kind of inspiring. It makes you, especially after being cooped up in the house for so long, it really makes you want to get out and go places.
You have hit the nail squarely upon the head.
Now, Dave, are you a member?
I'm not an official member.
Oh, you need to, if you're going to go watch movies out there, you need to become a member.
Well, I probably do, because I go up there and just buy a ticket and we go in. But I'm telling you, the wife and I get stir crazy in this house, and we've been looking for things to do. And I might say, and this is a good news, bad news thing for you, James, but there's not a lot of people that are going to the theaters. So because of the weather and because of COVID. And so I feel very safe in going to your IMAX, because you can easily social distance yourself there and see a great movie and get out of the house.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In fact, of course, we're required to have social distancing in the theater by state ordinance. And what's interesting is we've recently been increased from 50 to 75% capacity, and that works well in the museum. But truthfully, in a theater type setting, you really can't even get to 50% occupancy. By the time you skip every other row and leave seats between groups of people that come in, you really never get above about 30 to 35% occupancy in the theater. So that part doesn't matter. So you always have social distancing, have that capacity to come in, and you can just come on in and have a great seat.
James, I think that the IMAX is one of the best kept secrets in Lubbock. I bet you there's a lot of people that don't even know probably what we're talking about and have never been there. And this is one of those deals that it's an experience. It's an experience like you're not going to get at any standard movie theater. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's not an IMAX. It's the Omnitheater.
Well, okay, Omni. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We actually, the only difference is we used to actually be an IMAX branded theater. We're still that same format. It's called giant screen format, or specifically we have a 70 millimeter film projector. But what's different about us compared to even the IMAX that's over at Premiere is we have a giant domed screen rather than a flat screen. So at times when the movies are going, you kind of get a little bit more sensation like you're in the picture because of that wraparound peripheral vision. So it's not 3D and it's not 4D, but it's definitely a situation where you kind of get a little more feeling like you're actually in the show. And we only show science history documentary films because we're a nonprofit. We don't show Hollywood films.
And they're about 45 minutes long.
45, 50 is about the average.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, my kids love going there to see those movies because they keep their attention. There's always something to look at in one direction or another, but at the same time, they're not too long that they get bored or anything like that. So
and the fact that they're documentaries, you don't have to worry about the content either.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, James, Matt says I should be a member. Tell me how I get to be a member, and what do I get for being a member?
So we have different kinds of memberships. We have different annual packages. Basically, the most basic ones get you unlimited standard museum admission for a year, plus discounts on movie ticket purchases, on purchases in our gift shop. And then if you were to have kids or grandkids in camps and workshops and birthday parties, it gets you a discount on all of those. We do have some higher level packages that include unlimited movies as well, where you could come, and those even have the ability where you have guest privileges where you can bring folks with you. But there are some that include, if you want to go to the movies, you can come every day to the movie if you wanted to.
Every day, Dave. Every day.
Well, I tell you what, how often do the movies change out, James?
About every 4 months we get a new one, so we tend to have about 4 new films, 3 to 4 new films a year. Currently we have 2. We do have that Into America's Wild that you mentioned, which is our newest one. We also have Dinosaurs of Antarctica, which has been continued to stay really popular. And then starting March the 6th, we're opening a brand new one called Turtle Odyssey, And so it'll be a really good ocean film, and it'll talk
I
about,
will be
obviously, all the different species of sea turtles and how they migrate all over the world, and a little bit about them being, some of them being endangered species, but a lot about just ocean habitats in general, the Great Barrier Reef. It'll be a really beautiful picture.
Now, James, y'all were closed down for 4 months, I believe, but we want to make sure everyone knows that y'all are open now. Y'all are seeing more people come in. Y'all do have, social distancing and whatnot for people. You try to make sure that that's there. Sometimes kids are harder to do, but I know that y'all have the Purell and whatnot out there ready to go. So you try to keep everything very well sanitized, but y'all are open, and you've got a lot going on there as always, as far as the science spectrum is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're all right. We did have to close last year. Part of those state mandates, we actually were mandated to close for a couple of months. We ended up being closed for 4 months last year, which was really tough because it was from late March, really the last weekend of spring break last year, through late July, we were closed. And unfortunately, so that time is some of the best attendance time for the museum and the theater. We lost out, obviously, on all the spring field trips and school groups last year. And then the early summer is some of the busiest time with the general public traffic. But we have been reopened since late July, have continued to be open every day other than the last 2 days with the weather. But today we plan to be reopen for the museum, but the theater is actually not going to reopen today because of these rolling blackouts. We can't afford to have a situation where the theater were to go down with visitors inside it, as well as the damage it might do to the equipment if we were to have a rolling blackout. So we hope to be back open with it later this week. And then for sure, spring break's coming. We're excited for that. We're hoping to have a good spring break. We actually kind of have in our local area 2 weeks of rolling spring break. The Midland, Odessa, Big Spring, Snyder area tends to have the spring break the week before our local spring break. Last year, right before COVID hit, that was a great week for us. Lots of out-of-town folks were coming in, so we'll see what happens this year. But we've got that coming up, the new film. We've got spring break camps for kids coming up during that time. So there's quite a bit going on.
And I've got 3 of my kids already. The other one's too young, but 3 of my kids already in camps. They look very interesting. I know that the last camp they went to, they got to make big messes and have a lot of fun. And I think some of your camps now, actually, I think you've got one for robotics maybe. And
we do. We have lots of technology-based ones as well as just things that you would think of the standard like science experiment kind of things with chemistry and other things where they get to
space one. I think
we do have space.
Pirate. One of them was a pirate
for younger kids. We do have a pirate themed one. We've opened up in the last year a maker space at the Science Spectrum. We call it the Fab Lab, which stands for Fabrication Laboratory, with things like 3D printers and laser cutters and robotics and all of that.
I've always wanted a 3D printer.
And so we have classes and camps related to those. If you're more in the technology side of things, and we have the other types of biology-related camps, we'll always have, because of the aquariums and live animals we always have animal camps. So there's something for everyone in those ages. They start from age 4 up to 13 are the ages we run camps for.
Yeah, and my kids have been there. They always have a great time. So if you get a chance to go, you can see it all on your website.
It's .org, sciencespectrum.org, yep.
So sciencespectrum.org. Also, just in case someone's interested, I know that I think all we do is, Connor would be the one to tell you how you would pick these up. But we have tickets. I'm going to go ahead and give them out as a 4-pack. The reason being is it's not easy to get tickets to people right now. But as a 4-pack, we got 4 tickets available for the Omnitheater. So if you're wanting to go see one of the Omnitheater shows, you can't do it today.
That's right.
But in the next week or two, or
by this weekend, we should be good.
These are valid through October, so I think you'll be fine. But we got 4 tickets to caller number 4 at 770-5790. 770-5790. We got 4 tickets available to the Omnitheater.
Yeah.
So.
Well, people will make use of those. Science Spectrum is one of our, in some ways, some of our best kept secrets here in Lubbock, but it is one of our prized possessions in Lubbock, if that's a proper way to say it.
Well, we thank you for saying that. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right. And, of course, James, is there anything else you wanted to go over? I know that y'all have a lot going on.
No, I think we've just about covered everything. I'm a big fan, and I think you should be too. If you've not been there, for goodness sake, go at least take a look at the Science Spectrum in Lubbock. It's well worth your time.
All right, James, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back on Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin.